down to earth. What happens?
I cried. I cried a lot. I then moved to London. Then thought, right, what other presenter stuff I'm going to do? I was doing some presenting work in LA, small little bits and bobs. I hosted a dating show in LA at one point, an online dating show, which was interesting. Very, very weird setup, but odd, with like Playboy models. It was weird. It sounds amazing. Kind of was a bit, but it was also just a really odd scenario to be in, to be honest.
It's not like you end up in an odd scenario.
Yeah, it's true. It was weird. We were in like this massive mansion in the middle of like nowhere, and it was just odd. I was just like, I didn't really know why I was there, and I can't remember how it even started. But then it was like became this like dating pickup kind of video that we were doing. It was the writer of the book The Game, and he was part of it, and it was like this new philosophy of dating, of making people laugh and being a bit silly and all this stuff. And yeah, it was weird. But the problem was there was a few issues, but one problem is that we would do a couple of examples, and there was this guy that had like this average Joe who was a bit funny, who we were telling these lines to, and he would go and speak to one of these girls and do it in this character, and he was really great, and it was so entertaining. And I thought, that's wicked. Like, the girls seemed to be interested, but they knew what was going on. Then I would do it, but do it wrong. But what would happen a couple of times was that the girls would just go like this and go, "Oh, are you from England?" And all they cared about was my accent, and it ruined it, because it was like, no, you're not supposed to do that. Like, I'm supposed to get it wrong.
For me.
I was like, no, go for the other guy. It was odd. It was the accent, and it was really weird. And that was weird. Anyway, off topic. Got back, got a presenting job, Foxy Bingo, right? FoxyBingo.com. Now there was 4 presenters, and one actually left. We got another one in, but the other presenters, one was Jules Breach.
Yes.
Who now presents BT Sports Score and does bloody loads right now. Another guy, a guy on there is called Christo Fufas, who's a presenter on Talk Radio, doing really, really well for himself on there as well. And a girl was Lucinda Grossmith, who's she does loads of stuff on QVC. She does now floor managing for BT Sport as well. So it's kind of weird that we started there and then we've all gone to all these different places. So did that, then got an opportunity to upgrade my casino show that was on Sky Channel 869 to move on to ITV and do their late night roulette show, Jackpot 24/7, which I did. There you go. And a lot of people recognise me from that. And because when you're drunk on a night out or something, you come in, you put the telly on. For some reason, there was something addictive about watching this wheel go.
And you are the face of that.
And I was the face talking utter nonsense till 3 a.m. I did that for 6 years.
Wow. Was that a good training ground for you there? Really?
It was brilliant. Genuinely, it was brilliant. As an actual, again, I talk about like sexiness of a job. It wasn't sexy in any way. And there was still this myth around it, or this thing with experts maybe, or agents, etc., that they look down on them a little bit, those sort of shows. And there was this thing about looking down, which I didn't like, because there was some amazing presenters there, and it was live TV, and it was ITV1. There was one night we inherited 1.2 million viewers after the news, I think. There was a lot of people at times that were watching, and like I said, it was live. ITV1, sink or swim. And that was it. And you have to just go and talk, and you're in a proper studio. It's all properly produced, and there was a lot going on, and it was the best learning curve I could have got, because at that point it was like, right, I need more. What else can I do? So I do Foxy Bingo. Right, what else can I do? Okay, now I'm on ITV. Okay, this is a good step forward, but it's still, I'm learning my trade. I then do some bits and bobs around, so I go on some other websites to try and see if there's any other presenting jobs going. Did a really, really, probably the one job that I I say it's probably the most embarrassing job I think I've ever done, for a meat company.
Oh, wow.
And it was called 69 Seconds of Meat.
Of course it was. Why would they call it anything else?
Exactly. And they gave me an apron, and that was it.
Oh, crikey. And I mean,
Yeah.
so what we learn up to now is that it's been extremely varied, your work. What I know you for is your work in sports. So
Yeah.
how do you go from meat adverts and proxy bingo to sport? How does that happen?
What, squeezing my juicy breasts and pounding my meat?
Oh,
I'm not joking. They were lines from
no, they
these
weren't.
videos.
No, they
Yeah, they
weren't.
were. They were. And I thought that nobody would see them. And then somehow somebody saw them and spread the word, and loads of people saw them.
And you got gigs off the back of that.
I don't know. I actually put I put one clip in my on an old show reel actually, because it was just me. It was an outtake of me just going, "This is laughing, that this is ridiculous." So sport wise, so 2015, I saw an advertisement off a website on Twitter, and it was something on Twitter saying cricket presenter needed. I clicked on it and applied for it, and I didn't know what the job was, but I was like, a cricket presenter. I love my cricket. I'm a presenter. Let's just go for it. And I got the job, and the job was to present 38 episodes for the Cricket World Cup in 2015 for the ICC. That was going. There were like mini episodes that were going across all their social channels, Facebook, Twitter, their own app, their website at the time, YouTube. And it was amazing. It was intense. It was incredibly hard work. There was me and two producers working on it. So we were creating our own ideas, how to do these shows, but the views were enormous, like enormous. In like Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, where the cricket following's so high, the views were just through the roof.
So are you famous over there at this point?
I think at that point, if I'd gone to like Afghanistan, Bangladesh, etc., I think genuinely people would have come up to me for sure.
And
That sounds ridiculous, but I don't know what they'd have done. They'd probably beat me up. But
cricket boy.
oh, you're that muppet off that stone, mate.
But,
And I thought at that point, I thought that was going to be it. That was my stepping stone into sport. And simple answer, it wasn't. 6 months passed, and things didn't move where I wanted to. I had a couple of meetings that just didn't progress. I had a meeting with a company in India that I was hoping to do some work over there. That just didn't work. And I thought, I was devastated, quite frankly. I really thought, shit, is this really going to work? And then doing some research and speaking to some people, I decided that I needed something else. I needed some substance to my presenting. What else can I do? What else can I give? And so I went back to study and made the decision to study an NCTJ in News and Sport Journalism at the Press Association. So it's spread over a year. I was in lessons Tuesday evening and all day Saturday for a year. And Emma, I absolutely loved it.
can I just say, did you do shorthand?
Yes.
Is it not the most addictive thing ever?
I loved shorthand. Loved it.
Honestly, I don't know about you, but I used to choose to spend my evenings practicing my shorthand because it's like learning another language, isn't it?
Brilliant.
It's amazing. I mean,
it wasn't great at the start. It was what the fuck is this useless piece of shit? That's my mindset at the start. I was fuming, honestly, because I was like, I genuinely right at the start, I was like, I fucking didn't sign up for this. This is bullshit, because I didn't understand it, and I was like, oh, we've got phones nowadays. We can just record everything on our phones. We don't need this. Stupid. And then all of a sudden you start doing it. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Look at me. Yeah. Look how I can spell my name.
Exactly that. Exactly.
But, I mean, how old are you at this point?
Oh, so 2015, 31. So I was 31.
There aren't many people that I know of anyway that go back into education at that point. So you must have really, really wanted to pursue this avenue.
Yeah, it was the cricket side had really given me a input to go on it, just to the direction to go, this is what I want, and I wanted it. And I wanted it bad. And Sky Sports was always like up there. And I was like, I'd love to one day get on there. But if it's like BT or BBC Sport, that's great. But I really wanted that. And I realised I needed like a journalism background. I needed it. And I went into class and I was the oldest in the class and I just didn't care. I didn't care. It was great. I loved it. I was a keno. I was completely opposite of what I was in school, and and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the studying. I enjoyed the learning. I enjoyed getting my brain into gear again, and also because I had an objective, sorry, in my mind. I knew where I wanted to go. I had these aims, and by doing this, it would take me a step closer to that. I knew that was the right decision to make.
So you had these aims. Sky was the aim. The sky was quite literally the limit for you. Where do you?
Very good.
Thank you very much. I was hoping you were going to give me some credit for that. So how do you get from being the oldest boy in the class to Sky?
So in between that, after I finished the class, I worked for a football media company called Dugout. So very much about, sometimes it is about who you know or random meetings. And my sister bumped into a guy that I used to live on the same street as and go to school with, bumped into him randomly at Yahoo. And he happened to be at that point the head of Yahoo Sport. Got in touch, said that what I'm doing. I then met him for a beer and he then was working on this new project for Dugout and asked whether I'd be interested in joining.
Wow.
And I was like, well, yeah, this is a great challenge. It's new. Didn't really know what I'd be doing at the time. Thought it was just literally going to be presenting. But in the end, I think in the first 5 months, I presented one thing. The rest of the time, I was behind a laptop. I was watching content. I learned how to edit. I was putting together pieces of football footage. I was writing scripts. You name it, I was doing it. And it was actually... And it was actually a really good experience. And there were some really good people I was working alongside, young, hungry, intelligent, smart, creative people. And, we did some really good stuff over the time. And I also learned just so much. And, to be fair, they gave me so much opportunity to lead, to have my own team, to responsibility. I was an account managing. There was so much stuff I was doing that I'd never really had the opportunity to do before. So really, yeah, there was times I really enjoyed it. There were times it was a struggle. There was, office politics. When I used to hear people talk about office politics, I'd never worked in an office before. So never believed them. And then realised firsthand, wow, there really is office politics. And I was made redundant just over a year ago now, which... I won't go into detail about, but it was a shame, and it was disappointing, and there were some disappointing things to follow. But everything happens for a reason. You learn things. You learn from what people are really like. You learn that what companies are really like, and that sometimes they can be quite ruthless. But that's business, I guess, and that was it. But I also used that as motivation because I wasn't particularly happy. I was like, right, okay, not finished yet. All right, I'm going to show you. And that motivation drove me on. And after that, I did a mini documentary series with Discovery Channel, which is due to air in the next month or so, which is great. And then off the back of doing that, I saw, again on Twitter, I saw Sky Sports presenter required. A job advertisement. As simple as that. A media job posted up on Twitter, and I clicked it, filled it out, and I'd applied for quite a few stuff at Sky before, not presenting wise actually, behind the scenes, and I'd immediately got an email back rejecting me basically, literally within a day or two. So when I applied for this, I was a bit like, I'm not sure if it's worth it, and I might get another rejection. And I waited a month, and I forgot about it. I just thought, they're appointing someone internally. It's fine, don't worry about it. And they got back to me a month later, called me in for an interview, had an interview with a senior producer and Vicky Gomersall and Mike Wedderburn, who are two of the main presenters at Sky Sports News who I've watched for years. And I walk into this room and I'm like, hiya.
Oh,
It was, and it was back to that feeling again. But there was a difference, and the difference was I was ready for it. I was ready for this meeting. I was prepared. I'd worked my backside off over the last few years. I really had. From the ITV, I was still at ITV before that. I was working at Dugout. I was still doing modelling stuff. I was working 6, 7 days a week. I was working night and day, just slogging away because I was just so focused on building a future, building a career for myself. So when I did sit down and settle myself down, I thought, do you know what? I feel like it's my time now. And I then, it was the worst week and a half waiting for a decision on that. It was awful because this was a dream. Yeah, Sky Sports News. And by the way, 10 years previously, I had a screen test at Sky Sports News and I fluffed it completely fluffed it.
Was there anybody still there that remembered that?
There's a camera girl who I'm friends with who I knew back then. She did, but I don't know about anyone else. No one's ever talked about it. And I never really mentioned it because I was like, I don't really want to talk about it because it wasn't very pleasant. But I was really inexperienced back then. And anyway, I got the call and I prepared for good news or bad news. And he said, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. I went, I wasn't prepared for this. I only prepared for good and bad. I'm really flustered.
I'd be like, can I have the good news and then put the phone down?
Well, he went bad news first. He said basically he didn't think I was quite ready for the presenting job just yet. And I would tell him I'll disagree with him because I feel like I was ready and I feel like I am ready, but that's okay, no problem. But bear in mind the level of people who are going, I mean, it's fine. The guy that got it was an internal promotion, but he's excellent. He's really, really good. But he said the good news is we see that as potentially a future for you, and we want to offer you a chance of being part of our transfer talk team and then becoming a reporter, freelance for Sky. And I was just like, wow. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Let me think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't take me long to go, yep, when? Okay, I'm there. And I was here. I was just like, wow. And then went in for a screen test with the transfer talk team. Now, bear in mind, there's all these reporters there. I'd seen the shows. I'd seen them before. And what happened first, I walk in the room and they're sat on this panel and I'm sat down watching them for the first couple. And that was the worst feeling because I'm listening to them going, shit, they know their stuff. They really know their stuff. And then you go into a little self-doubt where you start going, crap, do I know enough? Like, have I worked hard enough? And the only way to know is by putting yourself in that seat and then the cameras go. And actually, I surprised myself and I did know my stuff. And I worked so hard researching. I continued to work hard because I didn't want to embarrass myself and I wanted to make sure that I not only did my personality come out, but also the most important thing, my knowledge was there, and that was solid, and I didn't make any mistakes, and that was it. And I got the call the next day saying like they wanted me part of the team, which was just amazing, utterly amazing.
Then the rest is history.
Well, the rest is. I feel like the past is history because now it's like start again. I know it sounds crazy after everything we've talked about and the stuff I feel like I've done, but it's not like sit down, relax, and everything's rosy now. It's like, right, now you work hard. Now the hard work really starts. And the work I put into those shows on researching, the work I'm continuing to do now to make sure I'm absolutely ready to go whenever I'm called upon so that I make a good impression so that potentially then there's another show and there's another opportunity that comes up or another brand might see something or another channel might see something. You just never know. So you've always got to make sure you're at your A game because it only takes one bad show. You know what it's like. And you have one bad show and it's sometimes difficult to recover from.
It can be. But, I mean, you're a man of great experience. So I can't see that happening. Do you feel, James, because, I mean, you've gone from, reality TV to model, reality TV, presenter, playing football with Woody Harrison, guy, do you feel you have found where you belong now?
Oh, I think so. I think so. But
Care to elaborate?
I know what I'm like, Emma, and I know what I'm like, and I always strive for more. Whether that makes me greedy, I don't know, but I strive for new experiences and I strive for new opportunities and new challenges. I like to challenge myself. I can't ever imagine me sitting in a position where I'm comfortable. I just can't ever see it. I like the challenge. I like a day-to-day challenge. I like something new coming along. Do I see this as I think there's so much more. I really do. I think there's a hell of a lot of hard work still out there, but do I see this as my more niche? Yeah, I love sports. My life, sport is everything to me. I love sport. It's been part of my life since I was a kid, and it's never stopped being part of my life. And to work in sport is a privilege, one that I will never ever take for granted. I really won't. And working in sport definitely is my future. In what capacity? Who knows? I would never say definitely in front of the camera, because actually I really do like being behind the camera. I like producing. I like writing. I like editing. I like it all. So who knows?
We'll watch this space.
Watch this space.
If you could give, I'm going to break this down. If you could give one bit of advice to anyone thinking about getting into a reality show, modelling and presenting, so 3 bits of advice for each bit, what would they be?
Reality shows different nowadays. So my advice would be probably quite outdated, actually. And that sounds ridiculous, but like I said, when I did it, I certainly didn't do it for a reason to be famous. I did it for an experience. And difficult to do that as much nowadays because you don't know what's going to happen afterwards, and the pressure that social media brings on you and the attention you get is completely different to what it was 14 years ago. For me, though, if you're young enough, reality TV, if you're smart, do it. Why not? It's an experience. It's fun. You know, if you trust yourself that you're not going to say anything ridiculously stupid, it's going to sit with you for the rest of your life, then absolutely do it. They're great experiences. They're stuff that very few people are able to do, and they're experiences you never ever forget. Now, some people are doing reality TV for their career. They have a focus and they have a goal. No problem. Go and do that. I've got no problem with that at all. You know, there is this tough balance, because some people say that the easiest way to get to, you know, a level, even for presenters potentially nowadays, is reality TV. I know a friend of mine who spoke to a producer, no names given, but they said, we're not looking for any old presenter now. If we can't get an established presenter who's a well-known presenter, we'll just go to reality shows and look at who's got the biggest following and train them up and just make them a presenter. And that's tough when you've been busting your balls for so long at it, that's what it's going at. But you know, that's the truth. But look, I would say be careful with reality TV. Think about it before you jump into it. I think there's some great experiences from it, but of course the repercussions afterwards you have to be prepared for. Are you ready for that? If you're not, then don't do it. Modeling wise, grow thick skin. Don't take it too seriously. It's a tough industry, really, really tough. There's a lot of people in it. There's not as many jobs. The money's not as good as it used to be. It's ruthless. You've got to be prepared to be judged on how you look. Like I said before, though, it's not that you're ugly. They obviously have this look in their mind. So be prepared to make sure you don't take it seriously. You've got to be strong, and you've got to take it on the chin. And it's about rejections, because that's the one thing I've had more than most people I meet in this world is rejection. And some people might hear that and go, oh, fuck off, mate. You've done this, you've done that. You don't understand what it's taken to get there. You don't understand the amount of no's I've had to get into this position. And the no's battered me at the start. But after a while, the no's spurred me on to find that yes. And it was like, right, okay, no problem. But I'm going to prove you wrong. And that was my mindset. It was like, you said no to me, no problem. But I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to come back. You're going to see my face somewhere and you'll go, oh, yeah, I made a mistake there. And that spurred me on.
And
And then
go on.
presenting wise, know your subject. Don't come to me with advice or with I need advice. Going, can you give me advice? Come to me with something. Come to me with what is it about presenting you want to do? What sort of presenting do you want to do? What subject do you want to specialize in? Is it football? Is it sport? Is it a entertainment? Is it gardening or home under the hammer like Dion Dublin? What is it that you want to do? Focus on a subject, be an expert in that subject, and that is how you'll stand out from the crowd. I think that's always my best advice.
For the record, Homes Under the Hammer, great show.
Good show.
Great show.
Savannah Marshall's a big fan of that, actually.
I think Savannah is in a group of a lot of people. It is strong daytime TV, that show. One final question, James, and I want to know this personally from you because, you spoke about your experiences growing up, about, getting bullied a bit, and then you spoke about going on shipwrecked and having this feeling that you maybe weren't being true to yourself and you wanted people to like you. You've spoken about always wanting to be successful, and success means different things to different people. But to me, success is if you're happy. So I want to know if at 36 years of age and with a lot of experience under your belt, a lot of life experience, have you found your happiness within yourself? Are you
definitely. Very good question as well. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with myself. I struggled, I think it was about 2013, 12, 13. So I got back from LA. It was that period after LA to adjust into life back in London. I went through a phase and I struggled because I didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't know where I wanted to go, where I wanted to be. Couldn't get a grasp on life at that point. Actually went through a period where I really struggled, and I'm not afraid to admit that at all. And I spoke my friends were amazing. Friends and family were amazing because they were on the other end of the phone to me all the time, and all I needed to do was talk. And I've probably repeated myself to every single friend, I don't know, but I was letting things get into my life that had no reason to affect me at all, because it was affecting me in a negative way. It wasn't helping my career. It wasn't helping me as a person, and struggled a lot. But I'd gone through a lot of personal stuff at that point as well. And it all kind of, everything just come at the same time. And I remember I went away and it was like an escape. I thought, I need to escape. I need to get out of here. And I went to Thailand with a couple of friends, and it was the biggest mistake, really big mistake I probably made, because Thailand, it was a boozy trip and alcohol was doing me no good at that time. It was just making me feel worse and worse. It was the first thing I needed. Like, I felt like I needed a drink all the time. But yeah, like I said, the next days were horrific. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd just be so low and down. I could barely sleep because my mind was just, and it wasn't over anything. There wasn't like a specific thing. There was just, I don't know, it was just a load of crap going on. But I'd gone through a lot, and I'd got myself home from Thailand like about 2 weeks earlier from a trip. We were supposed to be there 3 weeks. I think it lasted just over a week. And I went straight to the doctors because I was like, this ain't right. Like, I'm not the person I don't feel like this. This is not me. And I went to the doctors, but I told him exactly what I'd gone through. And I'm not going to go into specifics, but I told him something I'd gone through and then other stuff that was going on. And he actually, his jaw dropped to the floor and he just went, well, no wonder you're feeling like that. You've just gone through stuff that people don't usually go through. And I was like, well, okay, cool. So it's all right that I'm not okay. That's okay. All right then. And I walked out of there and it was weird. It was like this instant, like, fuck, it's fine. Like, it's okay to feel down. Like, it's okay to have those periods in your life where you don't feel on top of the world. It's okay that you cope with stressful times in your life and things that happen, and it's a little bit of a challenge to get through them. And it was this huge sense of realization that shit, it is okay. I know it's that slogan, but it is okay to not be okay. And that was it. And honestly, I had this like like light bulb moment. And I got into a little routine after that, try and help me. I started playing cricket with my old team again, just to give me something to look forward to every week. And it gradually, and it really worked, and worked wonders on me. And I've never gone back to that at all. Never gone back to that feeling. We'll never go back to that feeling. I'm absolutely, I 100% know how to cope with stressful situations now. Know to talk about it. Know to not bottle it up. Know to not just fucking open a bottle of wine and plow through those, because that does you no good. But what it's now made me do is appreciate, people who are struggling with their mental health. I've seen it with friends. I've seen it with family. The tough times that they've gone through as well in the modelling industry in particular. My goodness, honestly, Emma, there's so many people I know that have had troubles and struggles because it's tough and it's hard and you're not working all the time, and that freelance world of when's my next paycheck coming in, it's challenging. But the main thing is that people talk now and people are more open to it and people are talking about it more, and that's so great. And I just wish more can be done. We did for Discovery Channel, one of the series or episodes was on mental health, and it was great and it was brilliant getting it out in the open, people talking about struggles they've had, and whether it's from things that have happened in their lives to things that they're currently going through, but it's actually getting it out in the open and talking about it. And when you do that, it's amazing how much better you do feel. And you should never bottle these things up. Our mind is a precious thing and we need to look after it and take care of it. And by doing so, by talking more, that helps flush out these feelings so it's not all bottled up and stored in one place. But yeah, so I'm all for that right now.
You're absolutely right. Talking, just immediately lifts that load, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
By telling someone how you feel, it's amazing what a difference that can make. And thank you to people like you, because whether you like me saying this or not, you are someone in the public eye of a relatable age. Now you're the big 3-6. Do you
Bit
know
old.
what? people need to hear from people like you about real stuff, and I admire your honesty. I admire you for coming out and saying, I've struggled, I've had my demons and my issues, and I've sought help and I feel in a better place, because you are going to make other people feel so much more comfortable that, do you know what, this guy who I see on my TV, he's been through this, and if he can get through that, I can get through that too. So thank you. And
I will always talk about it. If somebody asks me, I talk about it and I tell them, I've got no shame at all. I've got no shame in admitting I wasn't feeling 100%. Like when you've got a cold, you're not feeling 100%. Well, I know it's not exactly on par, but come on. I mean, sometimes we don't feel great. Sometimes we do. That's it.
We are a world away now in terms of talking from when you were that little boy at school getting bullied and not feeling that you could say anything. We
Absolutely.
are a world away from that, or at least I like to think that we're well on track with that. And that is thanks to honesty from people like you that we are heading in that direction. So thank you. And thank you very much, James Green, for letting me put you in the spotlight and sharing your story. I knew it was going to be fun the other day after we spoke, but I did not know that you were going to tell me that you fouled Woody Harrelson. I mean, that is incredible. But seriously, thank you so, so much. Thank you for letting me turn the spotlight on you, and letting us into your life. Thank you. And best of luck with what is going to be a very, very bright future.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I didn't realize, honestly, doing this, I thought, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like when you said about it, I was like, I'm not sure, but I'll do it. But yeah, it feels good sharing the stories, and I just hope somebody, like I said, if it helps one person, it helps one person. If one person watching it and go, yeah, that was quite cool, great. I don't care how many people, as long as there's one person who appreciates anything, then that's fine.
There certainly will be. Thank you, James Green. Right, well, as soon as lockdown's over, I'm getting a flight to LA and I'm going to go play football with Robbie Williams. So
I'll hook you up.
Quiet me anyway. Thank you. Thank you,
Cheers,
James.